So I feel like every single day, everyone is always saying the same thing. And that's basically just keep buying, just keep investing, don't stop. If you stop, that's where you actually lose, okay? And as you guys can see right here, this right here is my actual investment account. And it looks to be like a lot of money. I also have it basically right here, but overall, I'm down about 4.5%, which actually cost me a bunch of money. But overall, it's because if I look at, for example, the overall like performance of my investments right now, the whole market is down. Like, it's just terrible. It's not good. So how are you supposed to keep investing when it looks like the entire planet is basically in shambles? And overall, you know, it reminds me of the Mike Tyson quote that basically says, everyone has a plan until they get hit in the face. And it's actually very true. It makes a lot of sense, you know? So I watch a lot of boxing fights, a lot of UFC, and it almost feels like I could fight one of those guys, okay? But I could see myself in that ring, get hit in the face and be like, you know what? This is not for me, you know, because it's a whole different thing. So when it comes to investing, you might think that, for example, you know, I've seen everything, Tommy. I've watched YouTube videos. I read the investment books. I know that the market's going to recover. It always does. But it's different when you're actually living it. It's different, for example, when you have, for example, your entire retirement account, you see it be sliced in half, and you're supposed to just keep dumping money into it. It makes it so much harder. So in this video, I'm gonna give you some reasons to actually go ahead and really just keep investing, because that's really what you need to, I just spit everywhere, I'm sorry. But that's really what you actually need to keep doing. Just keep investing and don't spit on people, because that is not nice. Thank God you guys are not here, because that would have been terrible, okay? But overall, guys, like this video, on top of also subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified. So here's the first thing that not many people really clarify here, but the actual terminology of keep investing is actually an investment terminology we call dollar cost average. And dollar cost average basically means you're averaging out your cost you're actually paying for these investments, because basically you're buying all the time. And what that means is, you know, instead of worrying about what the price is and trying to buy when it's actually low and trying to sell high, if you're buying all the time, what do you get? Common sense here, you get the average price. So this way, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of the entire game. And by the way, according to NerdWallet, you have three main benefits here. First of all, it removes the mistiming when it comes to investing that many people actually experience. I know people that say, Tommy, I'm just waiting for the right time to invest my money. And then market goes down and they're like, wait, it might go down a little further. But how do you know exactly how lower is actually going to go? It's like trying to catch a fallen knife. It's always dangerous, okay? So overall, it removes that entire thing. So as long as you're investing the same amount of money every single month, or in a timely fashion, like every week, every paycheck, whatever it is, just invest the same amount of money. Guess what happens is you're averaging out. You're not worried about time in the market. You're worried about time in the market. On top of that, it removes a lot of the emotional factor when it comes to investing. You know how hard it is to put money into something that's basically losing money every single month? You hear about inflation, you hear about wars, you hear about politics, you hear about this, and it's like, oh my gosh, will this end? The answer is, it will, because history shows that overall, it's just a part of the game. You know, not really, I can't say that, you know, because there are no guarantees in investing. That's what makes it scary, okay? But overall, if history shows you something, is we've been through these cycles several times and it always ends the same. And that is basically the market tends to go up over time. That is the overall answer. So by investing the same amount of money and doing it automatically, it removes a lot of the emotions. You know, for me personally, I just moved my money over to Vanguard and I have not set up, for example, my bank account over here. So I haven't been able to actually do like auto investments. So every time I touch, actually buy into the account, but I'm going to actually talk to them to add my bank account inside. So that way I can do it more in an auto fashion. So this way I don't have to think about doing it. It's just happening automatically. And that way it removes a lot of the emotion, the willpower, the thinking is just being done automatically for you. To me, that's a big feature and that's actually super important. Now, number 3 is, guys, it forces you to have to think in long-term blocks, you know? For the average person, it is very hard not to think past today. Most people think about what's going to happen tomorrow, in the next hour, in the next 5 days. Will this be up? Will this be down? When it comes to investing, I think the statistics show that basically after 30 years or 40 years, the market makes money 100% of the time. So that basically means the more time you have in the market, the more the likelihood is that you're actually going to make money. So by doing this stuff correctly, by doing dollar cost averaging, by basically setting up an autopilot, by not worrying about time in the market, and just basically just doing everything you're supposed to be doing, it removes a lot of the friction. And on top of that, it leaves you thinking about the long-term perspective, okay? That's just one part overall. But what's helped me the most keep investing even when times are hard is going ahead and also diversifying into different aspects of finance. So let me explain here. So what's helped me the most, believe it or not, when it comes to stock investing and to keep investing no matter what, is to actually go ahead and set a limit to how much money you're actually going to be investing, even when it looks like it's a no-brainer. So let me explain here, okay guys? I have a very common rule, and it's basically, I invest between 10 to 20% of my money into just one investment, and that is the S&P 500. And my idea is very simple. I think the stock market, the American stock market, is going to do better in the future than it is today. That's the over idea. I just think America is going to be better in the future, so that's why I put my money into the American market. That's as simple as it gets, and that's what I do, but it doesn't mean that's what you need to do. For the average person, it's probably going to be a little wiser to have some US stocks, have some international stocks, some REITs or whatever, but for me personally, I just don't really care about taking money out. I'm all about the US stock market, and that's why I invest the way I invest. But one big thing that keeps me with this methodology is to be able to say I have a limit on how much of my money I actually put in the stock market. And for me, that's between 10 to 20%. So once you have a fixed limit, what do you usually have that's going to be extra money left over? So if I say I'm going to invest 10, 20% of my money, and I have left, let's say like 20% of my paycheck left over, right? I can use that money for other investments. For example, to pay off my home faster, to pay off debt, to save for emergencies, to, for example, save for some rental property. The idea is having extra money left over to put into different investments and into different things that's gonna help with your finances actually helps a ton. This way, you're not just reliant on the stock market. You know, one big thing that made me change my mind about the stock market, like to be that heavy into it, was seeing people that get to old age, and they get to old age, they did things correctly apparently, and they had enough money to actually retire, but then during their cycle, we have a down market. And then all they can do is basically say, hey, I'm gonna have to work a little longer, or I'm going to have to, for example, eat up my investment funds a lot faster than I thought, and let's see what's gonna happen, okay? And that's not the position I actually wanna be in. So by doing it this way, I'm not just reliant on one aspect of just a stock market, I'm also diversifying into different aspects. That way, if things happen in the stock market, I have, for example, like rental income, or I have, for example, a business income here and there, and that's the idea. You want to have a portion of your money that's actually going to be used to invest. Now, there is one caveat to this rule, okay? Now, sometimes it becomes very obvious that we're having, for example, a very crazy down market. During these times, I do give myself permission to invest a little bit more money. But again, not that much more money, because overall, when it comes to the stock market, it's money I'm not gonna touch for decades. So there is really no rush, okay? So that's why I deal like this, okay? Now, number 3 is something that actually keeps me invested no matter what, is to lower the friction in my life, to lower my cost of living. So for example, if you have no debt, if you have a fully funded emergency account, and if you also have, for example, a paid off home. So having those 3 things basically cleared, it gives you a lot more power when it comes to your finances to be able to just keep investing. Because when you have no debt, that's cash flow you're not paying to anybody else. So you just have more money left over. When you have an emergency account, if the stock market goes down, if you lose your job, you have 6 months or 3 months to figure things out. And if you have, for example, a paid off home, your cost of living is relatively low. So this way you don't need to worry about, for example, like, hey, something crazy just happened, I need a lot more money. The answer is no, because you have a low cost of living. That's what keeps me invested into the stock market. So overall, even though the stock market is down, the answer is, especially when the stock market is down, You want to keep investing, although it sounds crazy, but that's exactly when you actually want to do it, because during down markets, you're buying at a cheaper price. And when you take a look at, for example, 30 years into the future, that's going to compound massively and have you have a lot more money. But just don't put all your eggs into one basket, not even the stock market, okay? Even if you're diversifying into different companies overall, it is the overall stock market. You want something that produces cash flow that's of a different nature. That way you're not affected when the stock market basically goes down. That's the overall idea, guys, okay? So that's what I do to keep me invested in the market over the long term and not have to worry about market is down, not going to invest. No, market is down, nothing's gonna happen. I'm gonna keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, and keep doing it. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified. And although we are in a down cycle right now, we will be eventually in an up cycle. It's just the nature of markets. And our markets are man-made, okay? So whatever man-made, man can understand. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment down below, man, so I know you made it all the way to the end of the video. And when I say man, I mean man and woman, okay? I don't mean like, oh my gosh, you know, just saying. All right? As always, up here is another video. Here's my favorite subscribe. And as always, long-term team officially out.